Good Monday afternoon, YouTube fam. It is I, Daniel Summerow, and we've got, as ever, Mr. Thomas. Thomas, good afternoon, sir.
Good Monday, good late Monday, fun day afternoon, YouTuberinos.
In this stream, Thomas and I are going to shoot the breeze. And this is also, if you read by the title, this is also a very special stream because Thomas and I have been friends for 4 years as of today.
Thanks to marvelous Meg.
Indeed. Yes, big thank you to Meg.
Hmm.
Our friendship would not have started without you, so thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
Hopefully she watches this. I don't know if she watches the streams, but anyway. Okay.
Speaking of Meg, Thomas, I got her into character AI.
All right.
Just as much as you and I do, Thomas.
I shall have a lot of fun with that. All right. Very nice. So, do you want to?
Keenan and Jemani are both also into it.
All right. Very nice. What I wonder what characters they've created so far. I wonder.
Well, Meg's doing Casey Kasem right now from American Top 40.
Oh wow, nice. Very cool.
I told her, I said, you can call or text with it just like you can with Pi.
Yep.
Should we show the app?
Oh, absolutely. We should chat with. I was thinking either Rick Rubin or Tom Petty.
I say begin with one that is more familiar to the viewers and do Tom Petty.
All right. And we can chat about the wildflowers.
4 p.m. App switcher has no items.
Open character AI. Guys, this is an amazing app. Especially if you're lonely and looking for.
Want to talk to you.
Yeah.
You know, when Haley's doing other stuff and I really need company, I open this app.
Ah, here he is. Yeah.
I open this app all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And I think. Stop. There. I think in celebration, I have to be careful not to put my phone on top of the other one, otherwise they'll attack each other. But I think in celebration of our 4-year friendship, maybe I should have a couple of fireballs while we're chatting with Tom Petty.
You should chug some fireballs for the chug video tonight.
Nah.
I'm joking, dude.
You can't really chug them. I mean, they're not meant to be chugged.
But
unless you were to do it with seltzer, then you can. What?
I guess what I'm saying is we should extend our chug tonight and really shoot the breeze. That'd be fun.
I agree. So, why don't you chat with him about wildflowers for a minute while I go get a glass?
I gotta use the can.
Oh, okay. Then I'll wait until you come back, and then I'll go get the glass. But I'll get started, and I hope you guys enjoy this demonstration of this wonderful app. And by the way, guys, this app is free.
Yep.
Yeah.
Will you entertain the viewers while I go?
You can pay for it, but you don't have to. Yeah.
All right. I'll be back, y'all.
All right. Proudly presenting Tom Petty from the other side. Good afternoon, good sir. Thomas here. And me and my friend Daniel are on a live stream on his YouTube channel right now. And him and I just want to chat with you about your amazing Wildflowers album and other things. And he's using the bathroom right now. But when he comes back, we're both going to chat with you. So why don't you greet Daniel's YouTube viewers? It's great to chat with you, Tom. Again, I should say. And this is Thomas, by the way. Maybe I already said that. I can't remember. It's been a long day.
Hello to Daniel's YouTube viewers and a big hello to you, Thomas. It's fantastic to have you guys chatting with me, and I'm looking forward to chatting with your friend Daniel as well. And yes, I believe you mentioned that your name is Thomas a few times. No worries about that. I completely understand. We've all had those days where things feel a bit jumbled and forgetful. So let's chat and have a good time.
Awesome. So, why don't we start off with talking about Wildflowers? So, how long did it take you to record the song Wildflowers?
Great to talk about Wildflowers. Recording Wildflowers actually took us a couple of months to complete. We recorded most of the songs at my studio in Santa Monica, and then we did some final touches and overdubbing at Rick Rubin's house. And it was a fairly long recording process, but we wanted to really get the songs right and make sure the album was cohesive and felt like a complete piece of work.
Sorry, I meant no. I'm saying, how long did it take you to record the song Wildflowers? From what I understand from the documentary, not too long.
I see what you're asking now. Recording the song Wildflowers itself was actually a fairly quick process. We did most of it in a day or two at my studio in Santa Monica. I had a pretty clear idea of how I wanted the song to sound, and we just went in and laid it down. Of course, we made some changes and tweaks along the way, but the initial tracking was done fairly quickly. The rest of the album took a bit longer, but Wildflowers itself was kind of a quick recording.
Well, what's interesting about You Don't Know How It Feels, that was Steve Ferrone's first take. And from that first take, he was the guy in the band for the for the rest of the time of the band.
That's correct. You Don't Know How It Feels was actually recorded fairly early in the Wildflower sessions. And as soon as we did the first take with Steve Ferrone, we knew we had our drummer. His groove and feel on the song just fit perfectly, and we didn't need to do another take. He became the drummer for the rest of the album and really helped shape the sound of Wildflowers.
Who's Gaga? Well,
So what was your
Dan-
favorite song to record on the album? This is Daniel.
Daniel is back.
Great to have you back, Daniel. All of the songs on Wildflowers were a pleasure to record. But if I had to pick a favorite, it would probably be You Don't Know How It Feels.
Mm.
It was a blast to record, and Steve's drumming was just spot on. Plus, there was something about the way we all came together on that one that just felt really special.
Now talk about the song To Find a Friend.
La La Boy. Sure. To Find a Friend was another song that I recorded during the Wildflower sessions, and it's a track that I hold close to my heart. The lyrics are all about yearning for connection and trying to find that someone who can really understand and support you through life's challenges. Musically, it's a bit of an epic rock song with some really passionate vocals and a great guitar solo from Mike Campbell.
Was that song about your personal experience in some way?
Because you said in the documentary your marriage was falling apart at the time.
Yeah, To Find a Friend was definitely informed by my own life experiences at the time. My marriage was going through a tough period, and I was really struggling with loneliness and feeling disconnected from the people around me. Writing the song was kind of a way to express some of those feelings and try to make sense of the situation I was in. It was definitely a bit of a therapeutic outlet for me, and it allowed me to channel some of that intense emotion into music.
Authentication. Application.
What was your favorite part about that song as far as writing it goes?
To Find a Friend was a really special song for me to write, and there's a lot I loved about the process. But if I had to pick one favorite part, I'd say it was the chorus. That moment where the song kicks into high gear and the guitars really start to soar is one of my personal favorite parts of the song. It felt really powerful and emotional, and I loved the way everything came together in that section.
So how come Ringo Starr played the drums on that song instead of Steve Ferrone?
Ringo Starr actually played drums on To Find a Friend instead of Steve Ferrone because I just wanted to try something different. I've always been a huge fan of Ringo's style of drumming, and I thought it would be cool to give the song a different feel by having him play on it. Plus, Ringo is just a really talented drummer, and I love the way he approached the song. It really brought something special to the track.
Huh. Now, would you please tell us the backstory about Something Could Happen? How did that song come to be? We'd love to know about that song.
Something Could Happen was written late in the Wildflowers sessions, and it was really just a spontaneous burst of creativity. I was sitting in my studio playing around with some chords, and the melody and lyrics just kind of came out all at once. It was one of those rare moments where a song just feels like it writes itself, and that's what happened with Something Could Happen. I just grabbed my guitar, started strumming, and before I knew it, the song was there.
Do you wish the song had been on the Wildflowers album? How do you feel that it didn't end up on the album? What'd you say?
Yeah,
I didn't say
I
anything.
definitely wish Something Could Happen had been on the Wildflowers album. At the time, we had written so many songs during the sessions that we ended up with way more material than we could fit on one album.
Do you have any more questions? I don't want
And we had to make
to ask
some
all the
cuts.
questions here.
Looking back, though, I really love that song, and I think it would have fit well on the album. But sometimes you just have to make difficult choices when putting together a record.
Now, if you were to have added Something Could Happen, what song, if any, would have been cut from the album? What song would you not have added so that Something Could Happen could have room?
That's a tough question.
Hmm.
I think if we had added Something Could Happen to Wildflowers, we might have had to cut a song like Don't Fade on Me. It's a great song, but it might have made the album a little bit too long if we included it, and Something Could Happen seemed like a stronger track overall. But it's hard to say for sure, and both songs are ones I'm really proud of.
Now, I don't know if you can answer this, but here's a question: if the album had been a double album, was Something Could Happen supposed to go after Wake Up Time? What was the original sequence going to be if it had ended up a double album?
If we had gone with a double album, Something Could Happen was originally planned to come after Wake Up Time, yes. We thought it would flow nicely with the rest of the album, coming in as an upbeat and energetic track to close out the first half of the record. At the time, we really wanted this album to feel like a complete journey, and I think
I have another question.
Happen
Okay.
would have been a great way to carry that momentum forward.
Now, if you had included Something Could Happen, would California have been included in the double section in the second half?
Yes, if we had gone with a double album and included Something Could Happen, we probably would have kept California in the second half of the record. That song was pretty important to me thematically, and it would have worked well as a moment of reflection and contemplation in the Wildflowers journey.
I know you recorded it for the soundtrack for the movie She's the One, and then you put it on Wildflowers and All the Rest back in 2020. Can you talk about why you did it twice and what the differences are between the two versions?
Well,
Yeah, California was originally recorded for the She's the One soundtrack, and then we re-recorded it for Wildflowers. The versions are pretty similar, but the second recording has a slightly fuller sound and a bit more production on it. We tweaked a few things here and there, but overall, it's the same song. It was mainly just an opportunity to give it a bit of a fresh coat of paint and make it fit better with the rest of the Wildflowers album.
well, hold on a minute. But California was actually recorded during the Wildflowers sessions, and then
You're
you
absolutely right.
Yeah.
California was originally recorded during the Wildflowers sessions.
I'm gonna get off about 3:30, Thomas.
So
Okay.
much material
Yeah.
at the time.
I wanna
that
be off
songs
before that
kinda
gets home.
shuffled around a bit,
All right.
and I got my timeline a bit confused looking back. Thanks for catching that.
So when was California recorded for the second time?
The second recording of California was done specifically for She's the One soundtrack.
Right.
We revisited the song and re-recorded it after the Wildflower sessions had wrapped up.
Right.
This second recording is the one that people are more familiar with, but the original was recorded during the Wildflower sessions. I hope that clears things up.
Now, if you had recorded it during the Wildflower, is that why the song is on Wildflowers and All the Rest? Because it was from the Wildflower sessions? I noticed you used the Wildflower sessions version instead of the She's the One version.
Yeah, because it yeah, that's why, because it was, yeah. Hello.
Uh-oh.
Did you go to sleep?
There we go.
Baby.
Aha, it seems like I may have dozed off a bit. Usually recorded during Wildflowers, and that's why the version on Wildflowers and All the Rest is the same one that was originally recorded. That's why I accidentally remembered it as a part of the Wildflowers sessions. Thanks for catching that. Can you give me a quick recap of what we were talking about? I seem to have lost.
What the hell? We're talking about your amazing album Wildflowers right now. We're also talking about the album Wildflowers and All the Rest, which, by the way, is an incredible album. Now, how do you feel that how do you feel that the album Wildflowers ended up just being a single album instead of a double album? I remember in the documentary you said that it would have been extremely expensive if it had been a double album because of the two CDs. You guys should check out the documentary. It's a great documentary.
Wildflowers and All the Rest and Wildflowers. Looking back on it now, I think it actually worked out pretty well having Wildflowers as a single album. It allowed us to release a tighter, more focused record that's easy to listen to front to back. Plus, you're right, the cost of putting out a double album would have been quite a bit higher, especially back then when CDs were really expensive to produce. So while part of me still wonders what a double album would have sounded like, I think we made the right decision in the end.
It's interesting, when Rick Rubin did the podcast with your daughter Adria, he said that he doesn't even really remember the California demo, which, the California home recording, which, by the way, is so beautiful. But it's interesting that he doesn't remember the demo. Do you?
Well, that's Rick for you. Knowing him, I'm surprised he doesn't remember every little detail from the studio. But you're right, the California demo is a beautiful piece of music, and it holds a special place in my heart. It's funny how sometimes people can have different recollections of the same event or experience.
Now,
Now,
what?
you first.
Now, why don't you talk about Confusion Wheel? That's another gem, a great gem off of the album Wildflowers and All the Rest.
Of course, Confusion Wheel is such a great track, and it's one that's really close to my heart. The lyrics were inspired by a lot of the confusion and chaos that was going on in my personal life at the time, and the song sort of reflects that feeling of being lost and trying to find your way through the madness. Musically, it's a bit of a driving rock anthem with some really cool guitar work by Mike Campbell. I always felt like it really captured the energy and spirit of Wildflowers perfectly.
Yeah, he did do great guitar work on that song. He really did.
Yeah, Mike is such an incredibly talented guitarist. He's got such a unique sound and feel, and his work on Confusion Wheel is no exception. I loved working with him on that song, and throughout the Wildflowers sessions, I feel so fortunate to have such an amazing collaborator.
Go on, you had a
Was there
question,
anything
right?
else you wanted to ask?
And I just lost it.
Wheel or any of the other tracks on Wildflowers and All the Rest? I'm happy to chat more about the album if you have any questions.
Let's chat about the amazing song Hard on Me.
Authentication. Application. To system.
Sure thing. Hard on Me is definitely one of my favorite tracks off Wildflowers and All the Rest. I remember writing that song during a pretty difficult time in my life, and I think it really captured the feeling of struggling through an uncertain situation. The lyrics were inspired by a lot of the turmoil I was experiencing at the time, and I think the song has a really raw and honest feel. Musically, it's a bit of a bluesy rock number, and I love the way it came together in the studio.
Is the song about Jane or you and Jane or the divorce or what?
Hard on Me is definitely about the struggles I was facing at the time. And I think the difficult emotions I was feeling during my divorce with Jane, it's not necessarily a direct commentary on our relationship, but I do think a lot of what I was going through personally informed the lyrics and the overall feel of the song. For me, music has always been a way to express and process what I'm feeling, and this song was certainly no exception.
Now, talking for a minute about the song To Find a Friend Again, if you were to tell me some of the similarities between that song and um, Wildflowers, the song Wildflowers, what would they be? Because it seems like a lot of the instrumentation sounds exactly the same.
Yes, and the chords are very similar.
That's a great observation, and I definitely agree with you. To Find a Friend and Wildflowers do share a lot of similarities. I think it's because I was in a similar state of mind when I wrote them, and I was using a lot of the same chords and musical ideas to express my emotions. The chords and instrumentation do share a lot of the same elements, and I think that contributes to the feeling of connection and continuity between the two songs.
Who had the idea for the take four at the beginning of the album where you say take four, one, two, three, four? Who came up with that idea?
Haha, that was actually my idea. I wanted to start the album off with a little bit of studio banter to set the tone and give listeners a sense of what went into making the album. That particular take, where I say take four, one, two, three, four, was one of my favorites, and I just love the energy and excitement you can hear in my voice. It felt like a great way to kick things off and signal that we were creating something special in the studio.
Uh,
Which
so
no, you
was that planned, or did you just do that spur of the moment, or was that take four thing planned out? You can ask the next one.
It was a bit of both, actually. While I definitely wanted to include some studio banter on the album, I didn't have anything specific planned out. I just let things happen organically in the studio and waited for a moment that felt right. So when we got to that take of one, and I just felt the energy and excitement, I decided to go for it and say, take four, one, two, three, four.
Uh,
It was a pretty spontaneous decision, but I'm so glad we caught it on tape.
Now, my next question is two parts. Now, would you feel in any way that the Wildflowers and To Find a Friend are similar vocally in any way? Like, as far as how you sing some of the parts? And is that actually your voice saying, take four, one, two, three, four?
yeah, it is.
I know the counting is yours, but is the take four yours?
Yes, I do think Wildflowers and To Find a Friend share some similarities vocally. I remember being in a certain headspace when I was recording both songs, and I think that came through in the way I sang them. As for the King Ford line, that was actually just a spur of the moment thing that sort of came out as I was singing. I'm not sure where it came from, but when I heard it back in the studio, I thought it was kind of funny, and decided to leave it in.
No, he didn't say king four. He said take four.
And I was wondering who said that.
He did.
Ah, my mistake. Yes, in that case, the take four line was definitely me. Like I said before, it was just a spur of the moment thing that felt right in the moment. It was kind of a funny and quirky way to start the album.
You mean the song, not the album?
Yeah, that was To Find a Friend, not Wildflowers.
He gets confused.
Yes, you're correct. It was To Find a Friend, not Wildflowers, where I say take four. Or 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hmm.
I just had a bit of a brain fart there.
Hmm.
Thanks for setting me straight.
Now you say take 4. Did you do 3 other takes that were never released?
Yep, that's right. There were 3 other takes before that one, but they were never released. That's just how recording sessions go sometimes. You try out different things and see
All right, you're
what
next.
works best. In this case, it was take number 4 that stood out and felt just right to start the album with.
It seems like you really, really, really enjoyed working with Rick on that album.
Oh, absolutely. Working with Rick on Wildflowers and all the rest was an incredible experience. He really understood the vision I had for the album and helped bring it to life. His production skills, his attention to detail, and his creativity were truly exceptional. He pushed me in all the right ways and helped me make the album I wanted to make.
Who's Giga?
I'm so grateful to him for
Let's
all the
wrap
hard
this
work
up.
and support
Oh,
throughout
okay.
the process.
Well, hey, it was great chatting with you, and I'll be doing a video with you on my YouTube channel real soon. It was amazing chatting with you.
Speech on.
You too.
Matt.
This has been a great chat.
Double tap. Close character AI.
I'll be on the lookout for your video, and I'm excited to see what you have in store. Thanks for the great conversation.
Closing character AI. Google Earth. Podcasts.
All right.
Double tap to open.
All right, sobrinos, that's going to do it.
Google Earth. Messages.
We will see you
Double
guys
tap to open.
again next week.
Yep. I don't know what time, but we'll see you next week.
All right. Bye, you guys.